Welcome to a session of visual journaling for spiritual growth and stress relief. Today's focus will be on visual prayer and gratitude gardens. So what I have out here are some small works that I did a number of years ago. This one's dated 2007. The rest are from around the same time. These incorporate completely imaginary butterflies, along with these plant forms that were based on real plants. For a while, I was working on greeting card sized papers that could be folded into a greeting card later. So here we have sort of hanging vines. This one has a little less structure. It's vine-like. Combination of this sort of bleeding heart with some fern. A sort of trumpet vine moonflower. And then I added in this series of, for lack of a better word, dots. And I'm going to go into more detail on that later. And then iris forms. So what I'm going to do today is a demonstration of some different really basic flower forms. You are welcome to use my flower forms. You're welcome to use your own. I encourage you to take a look around the garden, maybe your favorite botanical garden website to check out what's currently in bloom there for flower form ideas. Or just do a search of different flower forms. So, like the prayer flags, when we did the prayer flags, I organized my page with the flags across the top. And I'm going to start with the flower forms at the bottom of the page and working my way up. I really love the look and atmosphere created by the sort of wildflower garden, the traditional English cottage gardens. And so that's how I'm going to end up sort of organizing my page a little bit. I'm thinking in terms of height of flowers. I'm thinking about having a variety of them. I'm also going to think about spacing and clumping them. Okay, so sort of a little bit of gardening practice, best practices, along with sort of thinking how I'm going to structure my composition on my page. And while I'm thinking about composition, this is a time for meditation and prayer focus and gratitude focus. And so I'm really not going to focus on perfecting any flower forms in this. I'm not trying to make a final artwork. If this inspires a final artwork, that's fabulous, but this is intended to be a way to sort of focus on prayer. So, I'm going to start with this iris flower form. And it's organized over 3 large petals with these 6 or 7, depending, smaller sort of loops. And then the long stem and thin leaf pattern. So, I'm also thinking about, since I'm thinking about flowers and gratitude, as I'm working, I'm thinking about the different gardens that I'm appreciative of. I'm thinking about the ways that I am growing. I'm thinking about the ways other people have helped me grow. I'm thinking about the blessings that just grow and multiply in natural beauty. from each other. So that's sort of where, as you're working on this page, a way to focus your mind as you're working. So less about the flowers, and more about so oval on top of oval with the sort of rounded triangle at the end. So it's like a letter E, a number 3, and they come together at the bottom. And then these are going to be, the sides are half shapes. And while I'm doing these, I'm, thinking a little bit, there are many different kinds of flowers that grow in different ways, and how we as people are similar or different, and the different blessings we get, the different seasons in which our flowers blossom. Right? Iris, tulip, daffodil are going to be our harbingers of spring. The beginning of summer is coming soon. There's an energy in that growth. They're also bulb plants, right? They grow from this tuber, and that tuber itself can be frustrating for the gardener, but nutritious and sustenance for animals. So we benefit from the beauty. The animals are seeing it as life-sustaining. And I have the sort of bleeding heart variations here. I have a bleeding heart as a vine, and a bleeding heart sort of more as the growing. With a little bit of, this one has this striping on it that I did. This one is without. Sort of, I'm very attracted to this sort of heart form, this rounded heart form. So I may do a combination, a couple of both. So this one for me, I'm starting with this teardrop shape and drawing the heart. And I'm noticing I did teardrops going in different directions on this, so I'm going to play with that a little bit. do like the fern and thin grassy marks. I'm going to stick some of those in. Can also think about shade plants, sun plants. You know, we're thankful for the shade, we're thankful for the sun. We need a little bit of each to survive. We have some plants that are purely decorative to humans. Some plants that as people it provides nourishment as well as beauty. You can think about the stages of vegetables when the tomatoes and peas and beans are flowering before they bear fruit. We think about the cherry trees that we cherish the beauty of their blossoms. I'm using the curved lines to help give a little volume to the two-dimensional drawing. This sort of geranium-like flower, I'm using an inverted triangle, and this center one is getting the solid sort of teardrop in there, and then coming around with the additional. So this one is fun because it comes from a central point and you have the different petals, like an umbral. We can think about the fragrances of flowers and the memories that those fragrances, when we smell them again, And then there's flower symbolism. So you might be choosing your flowers based on the significance of the meaning, personal meaning, cultural meaning. And for this drawing, it might not be as important for you to add in any words, but it might become a journal entry. So I've left the other page adjacent to this blank, and that could be my journal page where I go in and I do some writing and some journaling about my gratitudes, about my connections to the seasons and the growth in seasons, and what I'm feeling. If adding an insect like a butterfly or a bee or a hummingbird moth as the pollinators are significant, and we're grateful for the work that pollinators do. And then I think my last, I'm going to use, and compositionally, I'm not going to put something directly smack in the middle here. I'm going to go with a sort of a gladiola inspired because they are complex. And there again, you have simple, you have complex, and we can be grateful for the simplicities, for the complexities of life. So enjoy growing your garden, naming for yourself your gratitudes as you work, and continue growing.